Rachel. Okay. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'll call the meeting to order. This is the Marion City Council meeting for Thursday, August 20th, 2026. The proud city with a new designation, a new accreditation for the fire department, international accreditation. So we're celebrating that this evening. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Mr. Miskman, Mr. Uniman.
Here.
Mr. Jensen.
Present.
Mayor Abu-Osley.
Present.
Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Ms. Menser. Here. Mr. Harper.
Here. Thank you. It's time we have a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is our first public forum. We have two public forums on each agenda. The first one is for any comments from members of the public related to any item that is listed on the agenda but not part of a public hearing. Any comments related to any item that is a public hearing this evening, there will be time during that public hearing to make comments. And then there will be another public comment section at the end of the meeting for all other comments. Before we begin, I would like to review the rules of procedure for public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council should complete one of the yellow cards at the end of the table by the door and hand it to the city clerk before you speak, please. Please do not approach the dais where the council sits. If you have any handouts or materials to submit to the council, please give those to the city clerk and she will deliver them to the city council. Please step up to the podium and speak into the microphone as the meetings are recorded. Anyone wishing to address council will have a maximum of 5 minutes to make comments. Please do not engage in any speech which is imminently threatening to any person, which incites violence, or which is obscene. Please do not make any disparaging remarks toward any individual, but keep your comments pertinent to the topic. Please avoid repeating comments made by prior speakers. Please do not engage in conduct that disrupts the orderly progress of the meeting or engage in speech or conduct which interferes with other people's ability to participate in the meeting. Failure to adhere to these guidelines or engaging in disruptive speech or behavior will, after a warning, result in removal from the meeting. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in adhering to these guidelines. The public comment section is now open for any comments from members of the public on any topic that is listed on the agenda but not part of a public hearing. Please come forward if you are here to address the council. Okay, seeing no one is coming forward, we will close this part of the meeting and proceed to the consent agenda.
Yes, Your Honor. I move to approve the consent agenda as follows. Items A1 through F1, resolutions 32996 through 33017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented, including items A1 through F1, resolutions 32996 through 33017. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. For the next section, I will turn over the meeting to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move The motion to approve consent agenda with Mayor Abdulaziz abstention as follows. Item A1 to D1, Resolution 33018, 33019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abu Osley's abstention. Items A1, D1, resolutions 33018 to 33019. Is there any discussion or questions on these items? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The consent agenda is approved, and I'll move the meeting back to the mayor.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing regarding the status of funded activities regarding the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program for the Ridge at Indian Creek project. We have a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Paula Mitchell with East Central Iowa Council of Governments. We're the grant administrator for the
Welcome.
project. And I believe most of you have had the experience of one of these public hearings for a grant-funded project in the past. But just as a reminder, there are a few required points that we need to cover that need to be reflected in the minutes. So I stick very closely to a script to make sure that we get all of those covered.
Thank you.
And then the other thing I would note is just that these are a snapshot in time and the projects are dynamic and still moving forward. So it's likely there's been progress made since even this was written. But with that, this is, as the mayor said, a public hearing on the status of funded activities for the Ridge at Indian Creek, which is funded through CDBG program funding as a disaster recovery project. And for a description of the accomplishments to date, it's noted that a CDBG disaster recovery housing contract in the amount of $3,269,820 was awarded to the city of Marion from the Iowa Economic Development Authority for the construction of 20 single-family homes for sale at 3375 through 3495 Platinum Way, with a release of funds issued on August 21st, 2023. A development agreement was signed with Abode Construction, Inc., the developer, on February 22nd, 2024. A pre-construction conference was held on March 15th, 2024, and housing construction began in the spring of 2024. 12 homes have been completed and sold to eligible buyers as of today, and all of the remaining units are under a purchase agreement at this time. For a summary of expenditures to date through July 31st of 2026, a total of $2,519,380.98 has been invoiced. Of that, $2,024,039.48 is for construction expenses of the developer, $385,000 for down payment assistance to the buyers, and $110,341.50 for project service delivery. Construction items include materials and labor for the construction of the units. For a general description of the remaining work, 6 homes are still under construction and also under a purchase agreement with a buyer. 2 of the homes are in the drywall stage and 4 of the units are in the framing stage. Finished carpentry and landscaping remains to be completed, and all of the units are scheduled to close by November of 2026. And then for a general description of any changes made to the project budget, performance targets, activity schedules, project scope, location, objectives, or beneficiaries, a contract amendment was approved on March 28th, 2025 to extend the timeline for performance to March 31st, 2026. A contract amendment was approved on June 3rd, 2025, adding $10,867 for project delivery funding. A contract amendment was approved on January 6th, 2026, extending the contract end date to June 30th of 2026. And a contract amendment was approved on May 19th, 2026 to extend the contract end date to December 31st of 2026. I would note that the date extensions have been primarily negotiated to allow for phased development based on sales. And the project is currently on track to be completed and sold to eligible beneficiaries by the current contract end date. That's all I have. Unless there are questions, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. Do we have questions? And so there's no vote on anything here. It's just the formality of the public hearing.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. So do we take public comments then? Okay. So at this time, we'll open it up for members of the public who are here to address this matter. If anyone's here to address the council on this issue, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one is coming forward, we'll close that public hearing and proceed to the next one, which is a public hearing on the status of funded activities regarding the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program for the Hoth Flats Project. We have the presentation.
Again, thank you, Mayor. Same process for this public hearing. This is for the Hoth Flats project, which was also funded as a disaster recovery project with Community Development Block Grant funding. For a general description of the accomplishments to date, a CDBG disaster recovery housing contract in the initial amount of $1.7 million was awarded to the City of Marion from the Iowa Economic Development Authority for construction of initially 20 rental units at 801 10th Street with a release of funds issued on September 9th of 2024. A development agreement was signed with Hoth Flats LLC on November 1st, 2024. A pre-construction conference was held on October 23rd, 2025, and housing construction began in the fall of 2025. And at this time, a temporary certificate of occupancy has been obtained for some floors, and the project has begun leasing as of August 12th. For a summary of the expenditures to date through July 21st, 2026, a total of $1,151,687.17 has been invoiced, of which $1,077,202.17 is for construction expenses, and the balance of $77,485 is for project service delivery. Construction items included material and labor for construction of units at 801 10th Street in Marion. And for a general description of the remaining work, some mechanicals, flooring, and finished carpentry remain to be completed on some floors, as well as landscaping and sidewalk installation on the exterior. And for a general description of changes made to the project budget, performance targets, activity schedules, project scope, location, objectives, or beneficiaries, a contract amendment was approved on November 1st, 2023 to allocate additional funding of $85,000 for an additional unit. A contract amendment was approved on June 11th, 2024 to allocate $255,000 for 3 additional units, bringing the total number of units in the project to 24. This improved the financial feasibility of the project. A contract amendment was approved on January 14th of 2025 to extend the contract end date to June 30th of 2026. And then finally, a contract amendment was approved on June 1st, 2026, extending the contract end date through December 31st of 2026. And at this time, the project is on track to be completed and rented by the contract end date. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions before we open it up for public comment? Okay, thank you. At this time, the public hearing is open. If anyone is here to address council on this measure, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one's coming forward, we will close the public hearing. And which brings us to the second public forum, which is the time that's set aside for comments from members of the public on any topic. If anyone is here to address council, please come forward. Okay. We'll close the public forum and proceed to council comments. Very short meeting today. Start with Mr. Vino. Steve?
All right, just get ready. Get ready for Monday. School is starting back up. So a lot of parents are going to be happy that summer is blowing by, and get ready for the changes. Football starting, school, kids are back in school, so major changes coming about next week.
Here. Will?
Nothing.
Sarah?
We wrapped up our Wednesday night events with Pilates in the park and Down Dogs in Uptown. So we thank both Vela Yoga and Club Pilates in Marion for helping to organize those programs for the community. I want to give a shout out also to our gardeners and working with all this rain, the beautiful flourishing garden out here on the edge of the City Hall lot. Please check it out. That is donated to the Churches of Marion Food Pantry. And then finally, we only have 2 sessions of sunrise yoga left for this year. We'll be up over 1,000 people. We did a little yoga in the mist last Saturday, but we got it in. So 2 weeks left. If you know anybody who wants to try those free programs, are all part of our Be Well Marion and our well-being initiatives that the community is committed to. So thanks. Oh, one more thing. Happy birthday, Rachel.
She was hoping to avoid that.
Oh, no, we don't avoid those.
Why, yes, happy birthday to our super clerk. Two items that I have. First off, one of your favorite council members will be at the farmers market this weekend. So please feel free to stop by and chat and share any concerns that might be on anybody's mind. Would certainly appreciate that. Those are always, in my view, unless it's drizzling, it's a great opportunity just to have community interaction with our residents. And we do learn a lot, and we do glean many action items that ultimately inform the business of the city. So I think those are really valuable. The second thing is I did correspond with Ryan, Kim, and Chief Sprague about a concern that came my way on Wednesday. And it kind of dovetails with the theme of school starting up. It appears one of our residents who lives along 29th Avenue, it appears that there's a high probability that 29th Avenue will end up being a kind of like the drag strip of Northeast Iowa for e-scooters and e-bikes. The resident related to me that they had a near miss with a couple of e-bikes while they were doing some yard work and were on the sidewalk, and a couple of e-bikers came blasting by in close proximity. I know we're working strategies with the schools, I think through our SROs, to get the word out on proper behavior on electrified mobility devices. And I also just have thought, I don't know if we already have this on our radar, but maybe 29th Avenue, and maybe there's an analog or two within the Marion district where we can just have some increased presence just to get the message out that we're watching for proper behavior on those devices. Anyway, that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Before I make my remarks, I know we've had some inquiries about the construction on 10th Street, and I was just wondering if somebody from the staff could just update us and the public on where that is and what's going on.
Thank you, Your Honor. So tonight, my goal here is just to educate everyone listening, whether that be residents, families, community partners, about the work taking place along 10th Street and 29th Avenue, and to walk through the traffic plan that's been developed collaboratively between the City of Marion and Linn-Mar schools. So I have some diagrams here that'll help as I talk through them. So as many know, we're in the middle of a median improvement project near the several school facilities, that being Linn-Mar High School, Indian Creek Elementary, and Excelsior Middle School. We realize that this timing is not ideal. We kind of joke in the engineering world that in Iowa, we have 2 seasons, construction and winter. But construction during the school year is never something that's preferred. But we have limited number of months that we provide suitable weather for construction and planting. We give our contractors a window to complete that work. And beyond that, the schedule is then driven by availability. And the recent rain has delayed this project by a week. But let me talk about August 24th through the 28th. So as we look at this diagram, we'll talk about 29th Avenue, which is in the red area first. So in that area, all the concrete work is done. It's just a matter of coming in and bringing in the topsoil to fill in those medians. And so with that, they will close the road here. So they will still have access to Indian Creek Elementary, and then they will close it at 10th Street. Westbound traffic will remain open, and you can see the 3 medians that are in there that'll be worked on. And then we'll make sure that the buses and everybody can get through. At the same time, then, the medians that are on 10th Street, they will come in there between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. So that's after the kiddos get in there and before school dismissal, to start putting the topsoil in those medians as well. And so having that time frame in there helps to make sure that everything is in there. Then future phases, what we will actually do is we will close the purple section and we will make it so that it's completely closed during that section of time, so that the plantings can be put in there. And then during that, then they would obviously have the south entrance open. They would have this entrance and would be able to go northbound, and they would have the entrance at 33rd as well. When the purple section is done, then we'll go to the green section. And with that, once again, we will just close it north of the driveway and south of 33rd. So again, all their access points will be open, but we'll close that for that period of time. So as we navigate weather on those future phases, there is also a median that's actually north of Tower Terrace on 10th Street that we will also put the topsoil and the plantings in. And there's one south of 29th Avenue before you get to Boyson.
And the important thing to note is that this is all done in coordination with the school district, and they approve this and they're fine with it. Is that correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And okay, so that's the important thing, I think, for everyone to know, that this isn't done independently of school district input and approval, and it's all in coordination together. So Ryan, you have something to add?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. And I don't want to steal Mike's thunder if he was going to share this, but I mean, even the coordination of the communication out to the community. So earlier today at 1:30, Jake Hahn, our deputy city engineer, provided a communication. Right on the heels of that, the school at 2:00 sent out the same communication. It's on their website. So this was a truly collaborative effort, and just really appreciate the partnership as we do here in Marion with all our partner entities. This is what Team Marion is all about. So.
Appreciate it. And it's just good for us to have the information to share as we're out in the community. And Grant, I'm sure you can share it at the office hours. So for my comments, speaking of office hours, I had the office hours at the farmer's market 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was August 8th, I guess. My favorite part of those office hours is meeting new people. And it invariably, I meet a lot of new people who all of them have just moved to Marion. And it's just such a incredible realization of really how Marion is perceived, and how much of a premier community it has become, that people from all over the nation are choosing it. Just on that one Saturday, I met people who had just moved to Marion from Austin, from Houston, from California, from North Liberty, Ames, and Iowa City. And that's not unique. Every Saturday that I'm there, I meet people from all over the country who walk up and say, I just moved to Marion. So that's a testament to all the great work that everyone's doing. A great story I have from last week. I had the privilege of being on a panel for Impact CR, which is a young professionals group that the Economic Alliance runs. And they have monthly activities and meetings. And I was on the panel talking about leadership, and had the chance to mention that how many families are moving to Marion. That last year alone, we had 716 new households. And afterwards, one of the participants walked up to me and said, I'm one of those people you talked about. He said, my wife and I work remotely. We could have chosen to live anywhere. We had 123 communities identified across the Midwest that we wanted to vet and check out, and we landed in Marion. If that doesn't make everyone feel good about the work that we're doing here, I don't know what will. But there's definitely something special about what we're all creating here, what this community is creating. and it's being noticed. And so just wanted to share that. Just in the last week, I've met with some developers on various potential projects. Today, we had 2 ribbon cuttings in Uptown. Businesses that are expanding and relocating. It's really the best kind of economic development when you have a local homegrown business grow its roots and expand in the community. I want to thank Steve for being there. Off and on, we have different council members show up to the ribbon cuttings, and I think that's always appreciated by the businesses. But the one was the Purple Wagon, which is now on its 3rd spot in Uptown, just continues to grow and has become one of the recognized businesses that draws people here. The Jack, which is the kind of Lego toy store, he started, I can't believe it was 5 years ago, but I think he said it was 5 years ago at the West End in one of those little shops. And I went to meet him, because I was just interested in what he was doing. And he said, I think I'm probably going to be around for about 3 months. He had signed a 3-month lease, and he didn't expect to last longer than that. Here he is 5 years later. Now he's in a big store on Main Street and doing great and really offering something unique, not only in Marion, but in the region that draws families and people to his store and to Uptown. I mentioned the accreditation process yesterday. Again, I just could not have been more proud of the endorsement that is for our city and especially for the fire department. And what I mentioned to the chief in the car ride back was really cool that I noticed was the camaraderie and the fraternity among all of the people from various departments across the country who were there, and they all knew each other. And every time somebody would walk by, they would hug each other, and they recognized each other. And it just seemed like a really great fraternity of people who are sharing a purpose in life. And it was really interesting to watch that. We had the mayor for a day earlier this week. I think we should sing happy birthday for rock star Rachel. So you gonna join me? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to you.
Cha, cha, cha.
Yay, happy birthday, Rachel. Next item is there are still tickets for the Power of the Purse. If you want to see City Manager Waller and me on the runway modeling purses for a good cause, that event raises money for women's health, women who are underinsured or uninsured, who are busy taking care of everybody else's needs and don't take care of their own health needs. It's a very worthy cause. I'm one of the hosts this year, along with my wife. And we're hoping to make it a record year for fundraising. And so tickets are still available September 10th.
Will you guys be in heels?
No,
Oh,
I don't know, but
all right, just checking.
it's a fun event. They have all male models who walk on the runway with the purses, and people bid on the purses. And there are other items in the auction too. Lots of various different items that are donated, and it's just it's a very fun event and a good way to raise money for a really worthy cause. Finally, I claimed another mountain for Marion. Last weekend, I hiked Mount Elbert, which is the second highest peak in the lower 48 states, 14,438 feet. It was very special to do it with my son, but it's my 5th 14er in Colorado, and it was a lot of fun, but just a fun photo to share with the community. So with that, we have a closed session this evening.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn a closed session regarding litigation as permitted under section 21.51C of the Code of Iowa.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to adjourn a closed session regarding litigation as permitted under section 21.51C of the Code of Iowa. May we have the legal counsel's statement, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I've reviewed the proposed subject matter for the closed session and find the same to be appropriate under Iowa Code section 21.51C.
Thank you. Any discussion before we vote? We have roll call, please?
Mr. Uniman.
Here.
Mr. Jensen,
Yes.
Mayor Robo Wesley.
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Menzer,
Yes.
Mr. Harper.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. We're now adjourned to closed session. See you next time.